Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Becky, and this episode I'm going to talk a little bit about raising demigods. So I know not all of us see it that way. In fact, there have been times where because I like to use movie quotes and song lyrics and, different cultural things that I think will relate to somebody to help, kind of make my point. I'm a visual learner kind of girl and a hands-on learner. So I like to create the picture and then help create the scenario in order to make things come to life, right? So I can be a little dramatic. And so when I talk with parents sometimes, and I know this would be upsetting for my kids, but they needed to know truth too. Mom does have feelings. And so sometimes I'd be talking with another person about, stresses of parenthood. And for people who have seen movies that are, terrifying, I don't like scary movies. I don't like the feeling of the adrenaline and the sweaty palms and everything. And I get it. I'm a weakling, whatever. Crybaby. I've heard it all. But I would say if you've ever want to see the most terrifying movie about children being possessed, watch Children of the Corn. Being here in Indiana where we're surrounded by cornfields, that movie terrified the bejesus out of me. I mean, I was like, bind Satan in the name of Jesus, please, Lord, don't let any of these children of the corn be out in the backyard, right? So the other movie quote that I've been known to kind of go into, and I'm going to give you a few of them just so that way if you're stuck at home and you want to watch some movies, these are some good ones that me and my family have kind of laughed about the titles for sure. Another movie that I've often joked about is that being a teacher, because we're all light sources, right? So like energy light sources, like not just the light of God and the word of God, but also like literally electricity. Like we are our own generators. So that's why I can be so energized all the time, is because I'm connected straight to source energy, right? Like right into it. Now I siphon it and I conserve it and I utilize it in different ways that most people, don't quite understand, because there's a whole metaphysical prospect, to what we do. But most people are blind to that because their third eye is covered, and we can talk more. But this was just a fun movie titles about raising demigods, because that's what I was doing. But trying to get them humble, because my goodness, children today, which is why I would joke, and I know they don't find it very funny, but I know that the adults find it funny, and so my humor, my two-handed sword, my angel, my devil are universal, and they hold no, it's, the gloves are off. So I would say that teaching could be like the Village of the Damned movie. And if you haven't seen that scary movie, it was these alien children that they all had blonde hair and like really weird blue eyes or something like that. And they would suck the souls out of the parents and the adults in the town. So on really bad, stressful days when life was really hitting me hard and I'm bogged down with all these, social emotional traumas that are everywhere that I'm trying to, like an ER nurse, just like put out, I would jokingly and say, some days it's like being in the movie The Village of the Damned. I don't know, as much as I try to give them the energy, feed them, it's just never enough. And then at some point, like a vampire can only get so much blood out of one victim. So I'm like, if you want a food source, then you need to learn to like adjust your energetic diet. And so then I started getting tougher and I started getting more, boundaried up. And so now I've got brick walls, like, what was it, the Three Little Pigs? And I'll huff and I'll puff. Every time I would build something, someone would come over and break it down or steal it or try to collapse it. And I'd be like, you know what? I could either punch you in the throat right now, or I can go just move over here and I'm going to play over here in the sandbox away from you bullies. But they always seem to follow you because they find it funny, right? And then the more calm I learned to be, the more steady I learned to be, the more they found it entertaining and challenging to get me ungrounded and unsettled. So then they could feel in control and have power. But the reality is that we're really living in the movie Idiocracy type ages. Like really the 30 years that I've been doing educational and in-home care and like really actively working in my professional world, not just training, I've watched the bell curve shift downward on the average IQ. Like, it's not a joke, it's facts. We are evolving as a species. And so that's why God's gifted me with this business. It's not that I'm going to treat you like you're stupid, because believe me, I've had enough people treat me like I'm stupid, when really I was never exposed to the information, or people were purposely giving me wrong information or intentionally confusing me or blocking opportunities. That's why I said life is not as cut and dry as what you see with these two eyes. And if you're making all your decisions based on what everybody else around you is telling you, then that means that they gain something from keeping you out of the center of your own being. They're trying to keep you off center so they can stay center of your story, but it's your story. So they have to accept that they are side characters in your story. Now, you might be a side character that they can walk on if you allow it in their story, which that's what I was doing because I love my kids. I want them around. So do I let them kind of be disrespectful sometimes? Yes. I don't want to repeat, cycles of never getting to see a grandchild ever again. But if I give a little, they've got to give a little. And we got to baby step our way to a happy medium where everybody involved is getting treated respectfully, fairly. Nobody's getting, there's no disadvantages, that everybody is on the same page on an even playing field. Just because I don't address things doesn't mean I'm stupid. Doesn't mean I'm naive. Doesn't mean I don't know what's happening. It means I'm too busy to mess with you, and God's already watching you acting like a dummy. So guess what? Now God's in control of you. You're not mine anymore. I love you, I love you, I love you, but I am not responsible for you. And legally, with guardianship, I can give advice on that as well. So if you need help with those type of decisions, please reach out, schedule a free consultation, homans.consulting@gmail.com, or you can reach out to me at 219-252-1972. I keep my phone on me, but I'll be honest, I am usually in multi-dimensions and different areas in the 3D location because I am a grid worker and as well as a light worker, which means I need to be moving to different locations, which is why we have the 90-day program. So then that way, my whole goal is for you to enter my life. I can fill you up with the Holy Spirit. I can overflow my love and my joy into you. I can help you create your authentic voice. I can even teach you how to create your own godly ordained business, not an ego-driven one, godly ordained. There's plenty out there if you want an ego-driven one. Believe me, I've learned my lessons in there. That's how I can help guide you a little bit. Can't prevent you from the harms that are out there and the lessons that are out there, because those are as valuable as the fun times and the successes. It's all about enjoying, and I know that's so hard because I've been there, but it is about finding even a sliver of goodness, even in a bad. And that's not always easy. And sometimes you need a mirror that can reflect that back. When you're in your deepest depression, you're going to come see me, and then I'm going to tell you some jokes, and we're going to, have some water, and we're going to go for a walk. I'll virtually walk with you while we're talking. Like, that's the kind of service. It is personalized. So, another movie that I had on this cool little list of movies that I had been programmed by back in the days and have shared with my kids and we've laughed over is the movie They. So that is a very fun one, and it's actually just amazing that these codings have been ingrained into us all along, and some of us have known it and realized it and snickered, and we just kind of wait to see, because that's the rules of engagement, right? Like, you can't interfere. But God's saying, like, just use discernment. You can help people, but he'll bring the people that need help to you. I had the wrong mistake that I was just running out with holy water going, you want a sip? Do you want a sip? Do you want a sip? And oh, those demons don't want any holy waters. So God said, you focus on healing, building this business, getting your divinity like solidified in the ethers. So that way, whatever happens with everybody in your family, you stay the strong beacon, because whatever storms they're going through, once they're finished riding through their karma and getting spanked by the universe for choices, just like me, okay, just like me, I'm taking my own lickings, right? Because I'm a hothead in recovery, and I didn't understand about marijuana. I was taught by my family that it was a natural herbal medicine, and so brainwashing, right? Like, I get it now. I know that that's how they were able to manipulate my vessel against my will, and I didn't understand how to protect myself, and they were in, yeah. Anyway, we could talk more when you, because you know. Let me get back to the fun list. Of course, the other one that my tribe would know would be the Matrix and the Terminator. I mean, those are pretty typical out there. I like to think of myself as the Oracle in the Matrix, you know, like baking the cookies and like, oh, did you learn the lesson? Like, I don't really have to spell it out, because you get the coding, you go back to whatever scenario, kind of like an escape room, right? Like, I'm the cheat code for your escape room. I mean, that's why the universe brought you here, right? So all of these movies, oh, and another show, it's a mini-series show that I used to watch, besides Quantum Leap. Quantum Leap was another one. Sam Beckett was a cutie, and I just really enjoyed that one, because it's how, you know, you can go into somebody's world and try to walk in their shoes and be totally confused because you just walked in their story in that particular moment, and you're trying to adjust to going, I am now in this person's body, and so how do I navigate this scene, right? That I don't know these characters, I don't know what's going on, but I will figure it out, right? And that's kind of, you know, I try to make life a little more fun even when it can't be. Which, speaking of games, reminds me of another good movie that I put on my list of coded games, or coded movies for us, is War Games. That's an old one and a good one. Simulation, very funny. Simulation within a simulation within a simulation. Inception, what? Anyway, War Games, going back to that one, for anybody who hasn't seen it because it is kind of old, was that, I think it was Matthew Broderick. I'm sorry, I don't pay attention to celebrity names. I know I apologize, but names come, names go, people come, people go, stories come, stories go. Anyway, I think it was Matthew Broderick is the actor. He was the same one from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Anyway, he was playing a video game like in the 80s. It was like when the computers first came out with a big old like box screen. And he started playing like war on the computer, but after he had hacked into like the military's mainframe. So he thought that he was just playing the computer, playing war, when actually he was actually playing with like the nuclear controls for Russia and China and who, you know, all the major global entities. He, sitting at his computer, is just playing a game, and then starts to realize, oh no, I'm actually launching codes. And it was like on automatic or something, and then he had to try to like figure out how to end the game without blowing up the whole world. Well, that's kind of what we're all on in a metaphorical sense. The world is falling apart because of how horribly it's been treated for, you know, eons. And it's going through a rebirth, which requires everything living within it and on it, and however you view that, connected to it, that has a 3D form to it. And even the things in the astral are still elevating too, which is why we have so much turmoil. They're trying to jump into weak bodies to try to fight to keep it the way it is. You know, they like the chaos. And those of us that have more angelic beings that use the vessels, because that's all this is. I just purified it, and evolving it and getting the soul right to be used by the angelic realm and the forces and the ancestors and the cosmic beings, the ascended masters, the aliens. Like, they are going to use this vessel to deliver the messages to you. So it's not coming from me. It's not me saying, I'm a guru, I got all your answers. It's saying I'm just one of God's messengers. So if this tribe isn't for you, please keep looking for your tribe, because you got a tribe out there, because we all have a purpose. We all have a mission. Whether or not your vessel is filled with the Holy Spirit or not determines whether or not you actually fulfill your mission. And I don't want you to be on your deathbed going, man, all I did was fuck around and find out. Oops, sorry. I didn't actually do anything to create a withstanding legacy of health, wealth, wisdom, healing, enlightenment, and bringing consciousness to a new level, and expanding the brotherhood of Christian belief systems, right? So, and I'm not trying to get people to become Christian. Again, I'm not religious. I just use religion as a very important tool for knowing thyself more and knowing God more, and it's blessed me with being able to be connected to source. So I must be doing something right. Not saying I'm doing everything right, but I must be doing something right. So let's see if I had another list. So a couple of other movies and series that I said kind of to give you an idea of where we're at. The Walking Dead is actually happening. We're not, I know people want to say, oh, we're not rotten, brainless. Yes, we are. If you were working in the fields, helping people the way that I do from a godly state, we are. And I'm just as guilty. Even with starting this business, me posting on social media has become a severe addiction. So again, I might have quit smoking, but now I've got to break my habit of working too much. Well, I've always had that habit. It's trauma response. And when you have to survive on your own, you just, hey, you do it. You don't complain about it. You do it. Well, you can complain about it, but nobody's listening. And if they are listening, they're making fun of you and they're gossiping about it. So there's no point in telling anybody. So not only is The Walking Dead a good one because it's more metaphorical, and if we do end up having like radiation bomb, nuclear bombs and stuff, like of course the threat is, well then we will be rotting flesh. I mean, diabetes is already causing rotting flesh. I mean, technically we're already, walking dead anyway. But now the flesh is ready, because these vessels are not alive. It's the source of energy, the flow of the beings through that vessel, which is the ancestors use your vessel to continue the legacy, which are the children. Okay, my people know what I'm talking about. And if I'm not your cup of tea, then keep on going. Try another one. Then the other one I was going to say is, unfortunately, I think this is my one fear that I still am like trying to get out of my psyche, and that is the movie of The Purge, or The Great Purge. I didn't actually watch it, I just know what it's about. And it was basically people are granted permission, I think one night out of the year, just to go loot, murder, rape, do all the sins that they want to do with no consequences. This worries my tribe, because these movies, these songs, these ideas, they come from somewhere dark. And if it exists in the ethers and somebody has decided to write it down and create the movie of it, that means they want people to live that existence, because what you think about, you bring about. Which is why I don't believe we should have unlimited, uncensored. I know, gosh, freedom of speech. Yes, we have freedom of speech, but we also have audiences. 80% of the human being vessels are followers. So if they're watching murder mysteries, guess what they're going to attempt to do? And if you're showing them how to do it in shows like Dexter and you know what I mean, like that's programming brains. Programming. People think I'm Pollyanna because I want to go back to the Mr. Rogers, okay? He's that time frame, you know, I will joke and I'll be like, it's all good in the hood, Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, right? Like, because just because, you know, life has that gangster thug edge where everybody has a knife at your throat, you know, spiritually, financially, emotionally, sexually, whatever it is, they've got you, right? Like, right by the cojones. Whether it's a role that you play in their life, you're their father, you're their mother, you're their grandmother, whether you want that role or not, you're obligated to it. Well, I'm here to tell you, no, you're not. God didn't delineate those roles. Programming did. So, if you want to change your programming, reach out. We'll talk more about it. And then, the other two that I really like is, I think these... Yes, is 100. There's a show called 100 where the planet gets, I think, like so inhabitable that you can't even live on the planet, and so they send up 100 surviving humans up into space into like living in a spaceship of some sort, and they wait 100 years, and then they find out that the radiation on Earth has gotten like where it's sustainable. So then they come back to the Earth to try to rehab it, whatever. You know what I mean? Repopulate. There you go. Rebuild. And it's just very interesting because then they find out that there were some people who were left behind and like mutated and like stuff. So it's a really cool show. I mean, I really do like the show. But the part that flips my lid though is that people don't realize that mirrors was actually happening in the 3D. So I stopped watching TVs and shows and movies and stuff like that probably at least 10 years ago, because I realized, I mean, I've always known that the programming was there. Like I said, the movie they've been telling us straight up for generations, but not enough of us hybrids have been speaking up. We just played the game the way we were taught to play the game. And when you're taught in a religious mode, and you see everybody living in the new earth mode, and you're like, well, why am I still in this 3D mode? Like, this doesn't make sense to me. Am I doing it right because I'm following the religious pattern programming? That's what I'm told God's wanting me to do, right? Like, I do this, I do that, I go here, I do that, I have this role, like that. And then to have, you know, your ancestors and everybody who lift your veil, and you're like, oh, whoa, I get to switch tracks whenever I want? What? Cool, let's do this. And so here we are. Because instead of being 100, you know, where like I'm going up in space and I'm coming back I want to be more like Star Trek. If I'm going to go up in space, I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep exploring because I've already seen this planet. So I'm going to do what I can while I'm still on it. But once you got me in a vessel off of it, I'm not coming back here. Please, I would be one of those aliens inside my little UFO, locking the door as I go past planet Earth the way it is right now. I volunteered for this mission. My family all volunteered for this mission. We all agreed to how this would play out before we even incarnated into the meat suit. Now, whether or not each individual is starting to wake up to their role within that, and the illusion and the disillusionment and the magical, mystical warfare, spiritual crap, voodoo, woo-doo, blah, blah, blah. Come on, grow up. I'm like, you know. Anyway, I can help you get to this point in life. This is not how I have been, trust me. Either you're going to hear lots of stories that are going to come out of the woodwork and be like, she would cry all the time, and she would cause, you know, you're going to hear it all. And guess what? I'm going to say, yes, I did. And tell them the story of why I was crying. Let me hear the background story of why that situation happened. Come on. You want to tell my part of the story? Be sure to tell your part of the story too, because the people with spiritual gifts already know who's telling the truth. They also know if it's just a momentary glitch, like, the human brain is fallible. I can only handle so much pressure of so many people killing me at the same time while I'm not looking. And I have to laugh about it because these are the people that I love the most. But Jesus had to go through the same dang thing. So in a way, that's why I get so excited about it, because it was like, I'm walking in the footsteps of Jesus. I just got crucified by my loved ones. And look, I raised from the dead, glowing, and continuing to heal and rise. Because I'm not going to stop. Does that mean I'm turning my back on my family? Absolutely not. If someone needed me, I would still be there. But the boundaries and the requirements for obtaining that help have changed. You no longer get it. It is now a service I provide. And if you want love, then you ask for love. You don't steal it. You don't manipulate for it. You don't lie for it. You don't cheat for it. You don't kill for it. You don't steal for it. You just simply ask. Hey, this is how you show that you love me, and this is how I feel loved. Can we do this a little different? And then it allows the other person to course correct. And if somebody brings something to your attention and you blow it off, or you deflect, or you defend, then you're just severing that connection. And then it dies. And then you're no longer in each other's stories. You're no longer in each other's lives. And that goes for family. We have too many people that are out there doing their godly mission, but forgetting to put God in it first. So, if you would like some help dealing with the density of the 3D energies and trying to continue to elevate and maintain and stay within the 5D energies, I can help you with that. If you want to go ahead and like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell so we can get this message out to more people. That means more people have access to ancient knowledge and wisdom that can help them with whatever they're going through in their life. And then that wisdom can be shared instead of killed and snuffed out by the 1% who treat us like we are and I'll leave you with this last story, and I do believe there's a movie. It's called The Most Dangerous Game. The most dangerous game is when people become so wealthy, they don't even know what to do with themselves anymore, that they take to the sport of hunting humans. So you might want to check that one out. That's another good one. But be careful. Don't be the prey. If you gotta walk through hell, walk through like you own the place. And I will talk with you in my next video. Have a great day.